What's up, Twisted people? It's your girl here, Chauncey K. Robinson, aka Twisted Woman CKR, and I'm joined here today by the woman who made all of this possible because she made me possible. My mama, Karen Robinson. We love to see her. I always love to see her. And so today, if you are joining us, I am guessing you are here because you want to talk Charmed, episode 10, season 3. And oh my gosh, we've got stuff to talk about because things happened. Yes, things happen. So we're going to go with our overall thoughts. We're going to talk about what we thought about it. And then we're going to talk about whether or not we liked what we liked. And then we're going to go into the happenings, what actually happened this episode. And then finally, our predictions. And we got to do ship talk. We will always do the ship talk. Because
the ship talk was going to come today.
Ship talk because of Hasty. Yes. Hasty, y'all, because we got to talk about Hasty. And so I just want to first and foremost say thank you to all of you who are joining us in the replay and also all of you who join us in the live each week for this. And it actually looks like and looking at the promo for the next episode is that we're having another break and that Charmed for episode 11 will actually be coming will be on May 7th. Yes, on a Friday, May 7th. And then it will, it will be on a Friday, May 7th. When I get my second dose of the vaccine, gonna get that mark of the, beast. I don't know. Get my second dose. God willing, of course. But yeah, May 7th. But we will still be doing our Monday recaps, of course. But we also... It will, so we're going to have a week off after this, but they gave us a lot to chew on, actually. And so, there's a lot of things, that to discuss. Michael Thomas is already getting in on it when it comes to Josefina, saying, Michael had a couple of things to say in the chat already, but was saying, I don't mean to jump on the gun, but goodness, Josefina is a selfish idiot. Blue, tell us how you really feel, Michael. Blue Wolf, hey, what's up, Blue Wolf? Jaws, what's up? Trans Christian, hey, how's it going? No, you're not late. We just started. We were running a little bit late. There's actually a heat wave going on here in LA, guys. So it is like I'm moving just a little bit slower. I know my mom's in Jersey, so she's like, you want some of this cold? Maybe we should borrow it. I don't know. Global warming, y'all. Jaws, what's up? Hey. Stephanie, what's going on? And Damie, of course, always a pleasure. Damie, hi everyone. Hi Chauncey. Hi Mom. Liliana, I totally feel like the Perfecti are going to be the villains, but Mo is precious. Everyone. Yes, I did, Damie. I saw Hasty. Hasty. We will be doing ship talk. No worries. Melania, hey, what's going on? So we got a few things to talk about. I guess you actually, Liliana, you actually brought up a question I want to pose to all of you, and those of you who are watching the replay, let us know in the comments, which is, do you think the Perfecti are good or evil? Do you believe everything they told you? Do you think we're going to run into some problems with them later on? Or do you think they really are who they say they are? I got some questions for it because I don't think they really explained everything. And there were some plot holes in how, and I was kind of weirded out by the way the Charm Ones was interacting with them, kind of just taking everything at face value. But we'll talk about that. But let us know in the comments and also in the chat whether or not you agree. And so Ma, what was your overall thoughts of the episode and what grade would you give this episode? And let us know in the chat as well, and also the replay, your thoughts.
I would give this an A.
A, okay.
Yeah, I give it an A because it was good, but it made, especially when they brought the other two in, I thought it was going to be good because that brought more. Now it made you, look at these two people that just came out of nowhere, but couldn't talk until they had to touch you or whatever and take whatever from you. And then they had to hum or say, I guess that was, I don't know what that
humming
was.
Something.
And, they, but I give it an A. It was good for me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. there's already a debate going on. I guess the second question could probably be about Josefina, but we'll get to that. Yeah, we got some, things going on with that. Blue Wolf is saying that the Perfecti are the new avatars. perhaps. Damien saying, I love the Perfecti, and Mo has a sense of humor. Yeah, I do like Mo. I like Mo a lot. I like the person. I like the lightheartedness of it, but also like kind of, we got to talk about them. O'Dane is saying, I think they could potentially be both. Yeah, I mean, if some power is so omnipotent, maybe what they deem as good or what they deem as a thing to do may not be in our realm of what we consider good and evil. Maybe their sense of good and evil is beyond anything what we have understanding of too.
They said they was ancient, so
yeah, exactly.
They ancient, and what they have done is totally what they believe is right and wrong.
Mm-hmm. Stephanie is saying that this is favorite episode of the season. Transgression is giving this an A+++. O'Dane is giving this a B+. All right. So my thoughts on this episode overall is that it got right into things, like as it should have, right? Because our previous episode ended on a cliffhanger. So they really needed to kind of get things going, because not like they did last time where Jordan came in. Jordan, who was absent this episode, what the heck? But like, Jordan runs in like, oh my gosh, what's that? And then they just kind of jumped to that not being there. So they went straight into there actually being a monster going on out there and stuff. So we jumped right into things. So I appreciated that. This didn't feel so all over the place. I felt like everything kind of connected and had a very more cohesive plot. So I like that. I'm not going to say this is my favorite episode of the season, because it's not. But it's definitely like in the third or fourth place, just because things happened, things moved along, and it did it in a way that felt natural enough. I wasn't the biggest fan of how some of the characters were acting, and just kind of just certain questions I had where I was just like, this just seems kind of obvious why we should be addressing that, which we'll get into in some of the details. And I would say my grade for this would be probably a B. I think this would definitely be a B for me. Not necessarily A+, but definitely a very solid episode. And they laid the groundwork for a few things here and there. And so I like that. So that's kind of my overall vibes of it. And I agree with Trans Christian. I did like creepy Maggie vibes. She gave me, if you've ever seen the horror movie The Ring, she was totally giving The Ring vibes of that scary girl in The Ring for sure. She was channeling that inner demon from the well kind of vibe. So we got three kind of major plot lines we're going to touch on with this and our thoughts on it. The first one, let's deal with Maggie first, because that was a little bit of the smaller one in the midst of everything that was going on. And basically what happened with Maggie, as Trans Christian has kind of helped us segue into, is that she's stressed. She's got this internship going on. We find out that she failed one of her tests. And she is stressed because they are the current thing. This is 6 days later after they've read this tablet, and all heck has broken loose, chaos everywhere, right? And so the charm ones are on a rotating shift, and Maggie's tired. And it seems like we find out that she's been doing self-magic medicating when it comes to just kind of help giving her a boost that's kind of not truthful to how she's feeling. And we meet a doppelganger monster that was quite scary. We got some horror vibes with that. And then in the end, she gets her stuff done and she signs up for therapy. So what did you think of her plot line this episode, Mom? What did you think of what happened with Maggie?
I thought it was good because she was feeling so much, and she had so much on, and she had so much on her plate. And she was trying to go out there and fight the monster or whatever. But then when she saw it was her, that I know that freaked me out too. I said, "Oh, that's her."
Right? Yeah. It was creepy. As a horror fan, I enjoyed it.
Her doing that part, she played that good. I mean, the way they did that with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, Maggie was good this episode.
Yeah, Maggie was solid. This was, I mean, there was real fear going on. You know, she kind of gave herself the fake bravado to kind of just push through. Did you think that it was justified for her to go to therapy though? Did you think that might have been felt a little extreme, or did you feel like, okay, yeah, this is what this with the, where the did you think this is where this story for her was going this season, especially since she was talking about I need to focus on me, I need to get my things done, and then in the end of that is I'm going to therapy.
Yeah, because you know, everybody need help. So maybe she felt that she needed to talk to somebody, but I don't think she would talk about what, you know, the magic. I don't think so. I hope not. But, you know, maybe she just want to talk about she's stressed.
Yeah. Oh, Dana saying it was good when people are going through things, they don't necessarily run to others for help. It felt realistic. Exactly. You know, Maggie has been going through it. She was having like panic attacks and things like that. And so, you know, we kind of felt like she was getting a hold of it, especially when she had told Jordan she wanted to focus on herself and become stronger. And she had been doing dance as a means of therapy, but now she's going to regular therapy. And there's nothing, I don't believe there's anything wrong with going to therapy. I think, I mean, that's probably the best thing you can do is seek professional help instead of, you know, trying to go to the one or other friend and them trying to give you some help and maybe not being equipped to do that, right? Giving you all types of bad advice. So I thought that was good. And I'm glad that we kind of got that progression of her plot line, because I mean, also, when did she believe in therapy since she wants to be a therapist in some form of life? So it completely makes sense. And I liked that for her. It was kind of the smaller plot in it, but I didn't mind where that went. I loved the fight scene with her battling herself and everything. And I loved when Mel found her and, you know, they battled them together, Mel knowing about the doppelganger and everything. So I thought that was, I thought it was a good plot line. It was the smallest one in terms of that, but it was also probably to me one of the more effective plot lines in this episode in terms of just the imagery and what actually happened with the character. It felt the most natural, the less convoluted, in my opinion. But yeah, let us know in the replay and also in the chat what your thoughts are regarding that. And if, you know, you like Maggie's storyline, do you think they might have a plot line going forward regarding her and her therapist? You know, that gives another angle for them to explore. Or maybe it's just something that's going to happen off screen, like Mel and Ruby's relationship. Who knows? No shade, but some shade. All right. So, okay. So then, and this may be the thing that takes up a good amount of time, because you all have been debating it in this chat, and I'm sure there will be thoughts and things regarding it in the replay, and that is Josefina. I put her in terms of the plot line, I put her as her own plot line because I felt like I really, y'all, this may be the controversial take, but she was testing my patience this episode. It was too much too soon for this character. Not saying that inherently everything that happened with her this episode was annoying, but it was like, why in the second moment of us meeting her though? This is only her second episode. It's only her second episode. And yes, it's been 6 days, but it's only her second episode. And I just felt like there was just this lack of respect going on. You know, it was like, I mean, yes, she's a grown woman and, you know, she can't tell, you know, Mel can't necessarily tell her what to do constantly, but she's in their house. You know what I mean? And yeah, she may be similar to Mel, but it was one of those, it just felt so contrived. She was kind of like, and I know I'm giving horror references, but it was kind of like, have you ever seen in a horror movie where they add a teenager to the mix of the adults, and the teenager is the rebellious one, and the adults tell the teenager not to do something? And of course, the teenager doesn't listen, and that is the catalyst for other things happening that kind of give the out for something, you know, crappy to happen. And I felt like that's where they placed her in this episode. And yes, you know, it was like, okay, but at the same time, it was like, what? Like, you know, you just got here. Didn't you just get here like 6 days ago? Like you all, I mean, and I could tell when she wasn't, when I could tell like in the beginning of this episode, she was not going to be listening to Mel. She'd be like, oh, okay, sure. And I'm just like, so you really going to come up in someone's house, and just keep disrespecting them like that? I just felt like it was disrespectful. And, and maybe that's a controversial take, because I just, and honestly, when Harry got his powers taken from him, maybe she misspoke. But when she was talking to the Perfecti, and she was like, I know you took his powers, but I need you to do the reverse on me. And even when Harry first woke up, she was telling Mel, she was like, maybe they have some way of giving me powers. And I'm like, yo, Harry just woke up from being knocked on the floor and his powers just got taken. Can you kind of not think about yourself right now? And she kept saying it like, well, I want to help you guys. I want to help, but you do spells and stuff. So that's fine in this moment. I'm totally down for her getting her powers, sure. But I'm like, yo, you are a liability. And you're willfully being a liability. Yes, it worked out in the end. I know that's the thing. It worked out in the end because she let the Perfecti go, but it could have just as easily not worked out in the end. And I don't care about her intuition. Like, I just felt like they'd be good. I don't know where you're getting that from. On what basis? Do you vanquish evil on a regular basis, or do the charmed ones do that? You get what I'm saying? She took a gamble with everybody's life. And this is episode 2 for her. That's too much for me. I don't like when new characters are crammed down my throat like that. I just don't like it. I don't like it. What's your thoughts, lady?
Yeah. I didn't think she should have let them go. I mean, come on. Mm-hmm. If she told you, keep an eye on them, do not let them go. I mean, there's a reason for that. You can't wait till they came back to do all this and, and tell them, all that, but I ain't like that either. I'm just saying, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Did you find her a little annoying this episode? Did you think some stuff was justified? Let us know in the chat and also in the replay.
Well, I understand. She wanted to learn or everything. But I didn't find her annoying. I just found her like a little kid wanting, I can help you, and they telling you cannot do something, then you get killed, then what?
Yeah. It's like, but it's such a TV trope. Like, I didn't like the fact, because I was a little bit on the fence for her character when she first came around, and I was like, okay, we'll see how this goes. But I just felt like they really just threw her into a TV trope of that new character, like the cousin that you didn't like, literally the cousin. Like, this is like Brady Bunch. Remember when they brought that blonde kid around? Oh, yeah. On the Brady Bunch, and he was like a little rebellious tyke, and they did that like in the 3rd season, and then he just disappeared because no one really liked him, the cousin. But it was like he came in and he suddenly got into trouble, and everybody's kind of personality was made to kind of shape around this person, this new character's decisions. And Mel doesn't get sometimes her own thing enough of the time, and now it just felt like here it is. Now she's like mama bear to this person, and it's only the second time this person's been here, Damien is saying, I think Josefina and Mel are alike, though. Trans Christian is saying, I agree. Boo Wolf says Josefina is obsessed with power. Yeah, she was just so much about that. And I didn't like the fact that Mel kind of came in at the end and was like, you were right, da, 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 da. And it was like, but wait a minute. She still needs to be reprimanded for the fact that she took a chance with everyone's life. And it was like this weird kind of thing that Josefina told Mel of, sometimes you just need to trust me. They just met you 6 days ago. They just met you, girl. Like, no, I'm serious. You just need to, like, you would think that she was Mel's daughter the way they had that moment. I'm like, they didn't build this up. This is only the second time I've seen this character. This scene is not justified. These words are not justified. I haven't seen any of this be justified storytelling wise. It just, you know me, I get annoyed with some characters, and I was just like, she is annoying me, and that is bad because you just got here. You know what I mean? Melania is in referring to Maggie's plotline. Maggie's fight scene was impressive. Therapy, she needed it. Self-medicating sounds potentially unsafe. The show portrayed her seeking help with sensitivity and grace. I definitely agree with you on that. Liliana is saying, well, I'm guessing she's supposed to be like Mel in the brash department, but she did test my patience with letting the creepy singing folk out of the ropes. She's lucky they didn't want to hurt people. Exactly. And let's think about that. Because, there's a few, that are saying she's supposed to be like Mel or she's like Mel. Okay. Why can't Mel be like Mel? Why are we this is only the third season. This isn't season 10 or season 9 of a series where, there's this idea that the show has gotten kind of long in the tooth. So they need to bring in some new, fresh characters to kind of spice things up because we as an audience know everything about the other characters. This is only season 3. I don't need a Mel redux. What I need is more stuff for Mel instead of her role now being to take care of yet another character and to somehow mentor another character. Mel still has growing to do. And now it seems like she's being relegated to this mentorship with, with this character that just came on. It's season 3. We don't need to do that with these characters. Now, that's not saying I'm against Josefina being there. I just would have hoped that it would be in a different kind of capacity in terms of the role they are making her play and the dynamic that she is having. And she has yet to have a direct conversation with Macy. I mean, I guess I'm just supposed to assume in the last 6 days they got to know each other. Macy never gets to talk to the other family members. O'Dane is saying, I agree with you, hon. I was like, really, girl? So annoying. Yeah. Liliana is saying, I think she's desperate for witch powers, Blue Wolf, as they say, as in replying to Blue Wolf, as saying goes about desperate people making less than sound decisions. The question is, though, how much will that be a problem? That's going to be a problem. And that's the problem. Michael Thomas is saying, Josefina clearly wants powers. I question her motivations. Well, my thing with that, Michael, is I don't think Josefina is going to turn evil necessarily. What I do worry is that she may end up being manipulated by someone promising her power. True. I almost thought the Perfecti, if they had turned evil, what if they had made brainwashed her and turned her against them? What if she ends up going to someone for powers and they do give her powers, but now she's under their control and she ends up having to fight the charmed ones? Things like she's leaving herself vulnerable. And I'm just like, I would like to get to know this character a bit more and not have all the faults kind of thrown at me. You get what I'm saying? Liliana is saying Mel has been a mama bear since season 1. Exactly. And the thing is, when are we going to get to know? I would like to get a little bit more in depth in the other parts of her, like her romance and things like that. I just think that's an issue. Joss is saying, I think she was justified, and it was kind of funny of Mel to be strict on her because this powerless storyline Josefina is going through was Mel just last season. She should be more understanding. Okay, well, that's one way of looking at it. I think it's a little different because Mel did have powers at one point and they were kind of taken from her and she wasn't in someone else's house. But, I get it though. Michael Thomas and Josefina was not smart in this episode. She plain old got lucky. Mercenary, thanks for joining us in the chat. Mercenary is saying, when they met Josefina, she was trying to steal from them and she wants Mel to trust her. Exactly. I was like, yo, they just met you 6 days ago. And when they first met you, you were straight up throwing, smoke at them and you were trying to steal. Trust is earned, right? Trust is earned, and I don't know if this is just some, maybe this is more so on the writers than the character, right? Because the writers write the character, but more so it's like they kind of needed this. They wanted for whatever reason to kind of speed up in putting Josefina into the plot line. Maybe it's because, Mel, the actress that plays Mel, is pregnant. So maybe she's going to have to go on hiatus. So maybe they really wanted to get Josefina as close to the other sisters as possible to kind of, you know what I mean?
Ease her into the role while she exit in a way.
Yeah, but not permanently, but so that they'd have a third or something.
Yeah. She can
Blue,
be missing.
Blue Wolf is pushing back on the Josefina and Mel comparison. Josefina is nothing like Mel. Mel would never make such poor decisions.
Okay.
Liliana is saying, I doubt Josefina will become the villain, but like Chauncey said, it'll probably be like teens who make mistakes in movies and add to the problems. Yeah. That's gonna be a thing. Stephanie is saying, well, if they make Josefina a villain, it's fine as long as they make her character complex and nuanced. It's not woke to make her angelic because she's trans. That's also a thing too. I think that's also something that's delicate, right? Because it's representation, but I feel like when it comes to representation, you don't want to have it be a monolith, right? Like when it comes to like Black women and things like that, I don't want all the Black women on the show to be the nice girl. I like villains and things like that. So I'm cool. I mean, you know me, I wanted Macy to get a little caught up in her demonness for a little bit. So you want the variety. I think, like Stephanie is saying, if they do it in a way that there's variety and there's layers, I will be fine with that. Although I don't necessarily see her turning into a villain, but I do worry some in a way with this writing of her, that they're going to get a lot of people kind of hating on this character, and it's like, don't do that to this character. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that to this character. Because fandoms can already be kind of, messed up. Like, don't give them fuel for it, unnecessarily in a way. Michael Thomas is saying, and by the way, I want to like Josefina. It's great having a new character, but she is such a power hungry dumb butt. Yes, exactly. Let's see. Liliana is saying, I love Mel, but Mel has made a good amount of bad decisions, like erasing Nico's life with her without talking to Nico, completely trusting the Sarkana and some others. Yeah, that's true. She has made some decisions, willfully so. So I can see that. But yeah, Josefina, I like Josefina. But they need to do a little bit better with their character, in my opinion. Just a little bit, and also when you have a new character, don't make it so that they have such a dominant plot line when it's only our second time meeting them. Because I just think you're already going to make people who are kind of starved for their faves to get plot lines. You're going to make them be like, well, wait a minute, I want more of this. And you're showing me some character I just met. Let's ease them in, yeah. So Blue Wolf is saying, I want to know what happened to Kevin storyline. It's like a push. It's like a push trans man to be Black and back to the back and uplift the trans woman. I don't think it's an either or. I definitely wouldn't call it an either or. I would definitely say it's more along the lines of they can both exist, right, Blue Wolf? I just think the reason why Josefina is there is because she's a witch. So she's more incorporated. I think what we saw with the next promo is that she is going to be Josefina is going to be around, but we also see that Kevin, he'll also be there probably too. We didn't see Kevin, but we are going to get something with the college. So that'll probably, play a role in it. Yeah, Caddis, thanks for joining us in chat, Caddis. That's exactly what I had said a few minutes ago, where she still hasn't actually had a direct conversation with Macy yet. I would like to see, Caddis says, I agree. I would like to see them talk as well. I think it probably happened off screen in the last 6 days because there was a 6-day jump. But yeah, keep letting us know in the chat and also in the comments, what are your thoughts about Josefina? But I'm worried about the character right now. I'm worried that I don't think it'll get to an Abigail situation where every time she's on screen, there's a good amount of people who just want to ship her with a knife. But I definitely think, I definitely think that's something that's going to be an issue. And I worry about that. Okay. Okay, so the next thing is, of course, the Perfecti and the portal opening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what did you think of that was the overall plot line, right? So what did you think of that? What did you think of the fact that we got the reveal of who the Perfecti are, that they were the ones behind all of this? Do you think it was satisfying, Ma?
Yeah, I get it. Was it? Yeah, at least we know how they came out the tablet, right? When the tablet opened and all the chaos came out. In a way, what was they sound like? Did they say it was something like the sound like the jailers of all that monsters that they sent back or whatever, and and they have them right there in the prison part, like all the monsters.
Yeah. The Perfecti were the ones that created the Tomb of Chaos, which they hated the name of. I like the Tomb of Chaos. Mo ended up liking the Tomb of Chaos, but they created it. And so I think that makes sense, because what Macy had read last week was, if you are perfect, then you, and I think that made it so that she wielded them. Why it took 6 days for them to get there is what's a little confusing to me, though. Unless they were kind of going around and they just then found the charm ones. Because why have it take 6 days? You know what I'm saying? Did you think, I mean, was it satisfying, their explanation of who was behind making this?
No, that made me, I don't know. It just made me suspicious of them. I know they sound like they're good with the accent when they was talking about how they, would take care of things. Everything is okay, especially when they said, "Oh, this earth is really chaotic. It needs somebody to straighten it out." And I'm like,
didn't that sound a little elitist to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, for real?
You almost wondered, like, what we were talking about. Like, they could probably maybe they would make a decision for mankind that might seem very harsh and judgmental, but they think they're doing it for the greater good. And I think that's what we might be dealing with. Melania is saying the Perfecti. They went from singing to the human language and fast food within 24 hours. Awfully fast for having been asleep 21,000 plus years. But Mo seems cool, etc. Mo was cool. Mo was cool. O'Dane is saying, I guess it was satisfying for that moment, but I'm wondering, what will they do to help cure the Charm One situation? I guess that's what we'll be getting about 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, we'll find out. But if you saw the preview, you saw them when they walked into a portal. I don't know where they was going, but they walked into the portal.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you saw the preview, they came. The preview was showing how everything was like. Because remember, they told them you might have side effects.
Mm-hmm. And then its question is what the side effects are.
I guess that. Well, I think that's it. And when it comes on, we'll see that. Because when she said that, she said, "Now remember, there are side effects." So, but then why I don't understand, why didn't they include? Okay, I know they wanted to talk to the Charms on. Why didn't they include Harry with this? I mean, they should also know that he's a white lighter.
Why did, like, when the Perfecti said we need to talk to the Charm Ones alone?
Yeah, and then,
well, my understanding is that the Charm Ones have been also around for eons, right? Maybe not as old as the Perfecti, but they've also been around for eons. White lighters were created by Celeste. So white lighters, I feel like, came in after. So maybe the Perfecti weren't around for white lighters. So they didn't really understand who Harry was necessarily. Ray is saying in the chat that the Perfecti are the OG avatars, which I believe are, now what season did they come in, y'all? Because I told you, I started watching OG Charm once Prue died, so I'm not sure if the avatars came on.
They was like, oh God.
Would you say that they're the same lady?
But you know what? If they brought them in like that one, if I'm thinking back to that, that's when, like, they brought the girl from somewhere to play the cousin.
Yeah. But Josefina's not that necessarily, I don't think.
No.
She's not there to replace anybody.
No, she's not there to replace. No, the girl didn't replace nobody either.
Yeah. You're talking about the one from that show on CBS. Yeah.
And they had her sister or whatever, but they did something like a reverse on this one. I think they're doing a reverse
But
thing.
not, I mean, we're not talking about Jose. I'm talking about the Perfecti. Do you remember the Avatar?
Yeah, the
From
Avatar,
the,
when they had them in the glass and they was talking.
oh, okay.
They was talking. This one guy from the school was,
Season 6. Okay, Ray is saying season 6. Yeah, I stopped
yeah,
watching by then, but okay. So you're saying, so the thought is that maybe they're very similar, these kind of omnipotent, almost omnipotent people?
yeah, because somehow they, like you said, they want to do good, and they see to them it's good when you want to control something, that everything should be in a way perfect, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have no problems or anything like that. And that's when they was eating the hamburger and something. That's when she said, "Is that y'all call her Mo?"
No, Mo is I think Mo was the black guy.
Yeah, no, Mo, he just
Mo is funny.
oh God, Mo was just eating that food.
Well, they hadn't eaten for like 20 something odd years. And then they got them fast food. I'm like, that's what you get omnipotent creatures?
McDonald's.
It was a cute joke though.
Yeah.
Um,
Like she said, I just lost my train of thought right there.
oh, it's okay. Caddis is saying, I certainly don't trust them. If they've been locked up for all those years, perhaps they became just as mad as the creatures they were guarding. And it's also interesting because they were like all the beings put into one. Like you're saying, Caddis, like it's like they said they chose to go to sleep, but somehow it took why like I guess my question is, did they put a spell on themselves to go to sleep? Because why then is this thing, who made the tablet? Did they make the tablet to be like, okay, someone can make this tablet when they want to wake us up? Or did some other being make the tablet just in case they needed to bring the Perfecti back? Right? That's the question.
And remember, didn't they split the tablet up?
Yeah, because it was broken. Who broke the tablet?
Yeah.
Who was trying to make it such a thing? Yes, Damien, they had it in 21,000 6 days. But yeah, it's just like, who broke the tablet up? Who put it in these special places?
What's Celeste at this moment, at this time?
Well, we haven't seen Celeste since all this happened, which is so weird that we have not seen them talk to an elder. This was I agree with you. And I think this has been my issue with this show, where it's like certain things, it's like, I'm like, okay, why haven't they talked to so-and-so yet? You know what I mean? Like, why haven't they mentioned Celeste? Wouldn't she kind of know about this? Would she have some idea about this? Why are they just taking the Perfecti's words at self-value? You get what I'm saying? It's like these magical beings. Yeah. And it's like, is anyone, I mean, I would hope that someone else from the magical world heard of them. It's the same way also, though, where I would say, like I said, we caught them 6 days after all this happened, right? The other question I had is, why not employ other witches to help you all vanquish these monsters, right? They're saying like, we haven't gone out, we were rotating shift. Well, yeah, you'd be rotating shift. There's only 3 of you. And it's not like y'all doing the power of 3, right? It wasn't like they were doing the power they needed to do. Each of them were doing it one by one. So it's like, okay, you guys are doing witch stuff one by one. Why are you've helped out so many witches. Why not make a call and be like, hey, can you help us do this so that we're not, you know what I'm saying? That was weird to me. I'm like, okay, why is it that when stuff hits the fan, they never have anyone to go to but Abigail? You know what I mean? And I'm just like, how many witches have they saved? Are they not social? Do they not? They're the charmed ones. They're supposed to be famous in the magical world. So it just seems kind of weird not to incorporate other witches who might want to help save the world.
Yeah. Y'all allude to the charm ones. That's why they say the charm ones.
Yeah.
More powerful than any other witch there is.
Okay, but there have been witches doing it for decades that could probably help them vanquish some of these monsters. It just seemed kind of weird that they didn't incorporate and they were just doing rotating shifts with each other. John said, how would they go just as crazy if they made the tablet? They mentioned it. Yeah, that's a point. Stephanie is saying, I think Celeste died. When she gave Mel her timepiece, she mentioned that she only had so long to live. Okay. So do you think she did rapid aging? Is that the thought process? That could be the case, that she did rapid aging. That might be a thing.
I didn't think about that.
Maybe Stephanie might be right. At first I was going to say, well, why can't they talk to her spirit version? But then I was like, this ain't Star Wars. You can't be talking to people's spirits.
That's another thing. In the OG, they did have the spirit, like, the spirit
of witches that they could talk to who passed on.
Grandma came back and talked to them. That's why I said I don't understand how they work that. They even have Mama come back to talk to them.
Yeah. John saying, now Chauncey, these writers. Look, you said it. I ain't throwing no shade at the writers. I'm just saying, just like last week where y'all was all telling me it's magic, I'm like, okay, I'll accept it. But I got to question some of this. I got to be like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Hey, Zay, thanks for dropping in, and happy Ramadan as well to you and everyone celebrating it. Yeah, I was just like, yo, what's good? They'd be saving people and they don't got no one to call on, no allies of the magical world. Like, y'all doing rotating shifts? Like, I didn't get it. Oh yeah, Ray just pointed out Grams. Grams was all up on OG Charmed. I did remember that. Grams saying, how many times then Grams and OG be brother man and grandmother Willow in one? She was the fifth roommate in the manor. Exactly. Very true. Hi, Erica. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, have a good time babysitting. Thank you so much. I always appreciate y'all when y'all even jump on when you can't even stay. It's so appreciative. We love hanging out with all of you, talking this show, even when I got my questions. Yeah, I got my questions about this show sometimes. Yeah, I just didn't get that. And I'm kind of agreeing with all of you when I say I am side-eyeing the Perfecti, not because I think they are going to be inherently evil. I think what's going to happen when you have goddess or godlike beings and they don't understand necessarily the interpersonal human spirit kind of a way, even in against the odds, that they may have kind of this whole Noah's Ark kind of vibe with it, where it's like, just flood the earth and let's just start all over type thing. You get what I'm saying? Like, I worry that might be where they're going. I also didn't like the way they answered the charm ones when they asked about the allergy. It's like, yeah, we can. And then they were just kind of like, okay, are you going to say something? And then, of course, we find out they have to go on this mission. And so I was just like, all right, y'all just gonna roll out? Like, is there no books about these people?
And then tell Harry? That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if they told Harry. I think they might have told Harry. I feel like they all kind of hung out with people. She made,
He's not questioning them. He's not questioning anything. Yeah. I hope he do question that and be one. Okay, and that, especially with the tablet and everything, I hope he do realize what is going on here. He can't take their word. Come on.
Yeah. Trans Christian is saying, what did you think of the Easter egg? Okay, you got to let me know what was the Easter egg, because maybe I missed it. I don't remember what was there an Easter egg in there to link to something or a callback? Are we doing the Marvel thing? Were they doing the Marvel thing where they got references up in there? I'm all about the Easter eggs. Let us know, Trans Christian. No, not physical Easter eggs, Mom.
I didn't see no Easter eggs.
No. Oh my gosh.
Look, hey, y'all be talking these languages. What the hell?
What do you mean Easter egg? They did it for Easter? Wow. Blake is saying, how come the command center alarm didn't go off for the worm?
Yeah,
that too. That was another thing. When things are breached, usually stuff goes on, and this thing just got to kind of grow in there. Yeah. I was like, that's convenient.
But wasn't it in the house too? And then how did it get back into the thing?
I don't know. Liliana is saying their names set off bells before we got to see their personalities. Perfect anything is suspicious. Exactly. Because who deemed them? Well, they came up with the name themselves. So it's like, okay, you just deemed yourselves perfect. Okay, cool. Kat is saying the sisters were quick to be like, awesome, let's do this. They should have asked more questions. Exactly. It just seemed a little too.
I mean, come on.
Johnson saying the Easter egg was the new BOS. What was that? What's BOS? I'm not as hip, y'all. Tell me, did I forget something?
Well, hey, don't ask this old woman right here.
Yeah. Michael is saying, your mama makes a good point. Perhaps the perfect people want, the Perfecti want Harry out of the way while they dupe the charm ones. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah. Kat has made a point about the thing that the Book of Shadows looks so clean. I hope Mel uses her magic to age it up so it looks cool. Yeah, we like ancient looking books.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, Book of Shadows. See, y'all, now who decided BOS was a shorthand for Book of Shadows? don't be doing like y'all all had a meeting. Now you know, spell that out. Okay. Y'all had a meeting with a shorthand. Someone send me a list. Y'all gonna be doing shorthand up in here. Yes, Book of Shadows, the new Book of Shadows. Okay.
Easter egg. Explain that to me.
Easter egg is when there's something that's a reference or a callback to something, or kind of like a hint to something else, kind of a deal. That might be a, that might, I think in this case, it was to the old Charmed fandom. So did you see how she held up that book? I think that symbol on it was pretty much how the Book of Shadows looked.
Okay. I saw this. Yeah. Okay. Now I get you.
These hip cats in here. Yeah. So I'm questioning the Perfecti. I didn't necessarily like how quick they were to put their lives in the hands of the Perfecti. And so it was, I'm questioning them, but maybe that's the point. Maybe the writers want you to kind of wonder if they're going to do something or not.
I got another thing there.
What?
Okay, she said they do. Now, when all these people is laying on the ground, so you tell me they came back alive?
No, they weren't dead. What happened was
learn their language.
Their language, so they kind of read their minds. Why they deliberately took Harry's thing?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, and then they took Harry's, but not. Well, I guess they were about to take Mel's, but then with that, it was like. I don't know. I
understand why they took it for that moment.
And that's what kind of annoyed me. Not to go back to Josefina, but that's a little bit what annoyed me because she was passed out on the ground. Maggie's trying to find things. She gets up and she's like, "Yeah, I'm fine, of course." And I'm like, "You know that she's going to wonder why you were lying on the ground. Are you serious right now, acting like she's like ridiculous for asking you if you're all right? Like they would know what was happening to you, like." And now we're all supposed to believe that they're the fate of the world. And it's like, what? Blake is saying, don't give the writers that much credit. Yeah, maybe. No, I'll let y'all shade them. I ain't gonna shade them. I ain't gonna go on record shading them. Yeah, Kat is saying, kind of wish they still spoke in song. They could be the backing vocals of the music for the musical episode. That would be cool. It'd be cool to have a musical episode. But yeah, well, I guess we'll see if the Perfecti are going to be, that they might be evil or not. I think what it is, they might be something that the Charm Ones have to eventually maybe not vanquish, but maybe convince them to whatever plan, And the question is, are they more powerful than the Charm Ones? Like if the Charm Ones join their powers, can they defeat the Perfecti? I think that's what I also wonder too, because
lead up to that in a sense.
Yeah, because when you have the Perfecti coming in, and now it seems like they're kind of the top of the magical food chain, right? And it's like, what does that do for the balance of the magical world, right? These people that could supposedly vanquish so many other people. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just like, yeah. I'm just wondering, I guess that's why my main critique is I feel like the Charmed One should have asked more questions and
Yeah.
not been so easy to just kind of go along with them saying we are who we are and that's, who we are, and just be like, yeah, can you fix us? And it's like, okay, sure. All right, y'all. We are to the part of ship talk. Ship talk.
There's only one ship talk on that episode that y'all love. I saw this. I said, I bet everybody's jumping up for joy for that one.
Yeah. And I agree with Stephanie. Josefina be doing the most with some of that. So, all right. So ship talk. The main ship was Hasty. Y'all, we got a hasty kiss. We got hasty kisses this episode. Oh my gosh. I was so happy for the hasty kisses.
I know y'all.
I almost feel like they snuck that in because they knew by now those of us would be so mad if we didn't get hasty in this, at least something from them, because it started to get a little repetitive that they were both just so frustrated they can't get. I still think it's kind of weird neither of them have tried to do some type of dream spell, You know what I mean? Like, why not do, I know I said that in the beginning, but it seems weird to me. No one's tried the idea of a dream spell where they can touch and feel in a dream with each other. Seems weird. I feel like that's within their power. Yet that is not the case. They didn't try that. Yeah. So yeah, Stephanie, we have been starving for some Hasty, and we got some. Send the ships, Blake. Yes. Trans Christian. Yeah, that's the question. Harry wants to give up his powers, but Macy doesn't want him to. And I think that's the main thing. There was a few things with this ship talk, right? Where one, we saw how tired Macy is, how she feels like she's been, doing so much. And she almost, because of the other things that have happened to her, she's like, I've been fighting. It feels so tiresome to fight for a world that's not willing to fight for me. We had the moment with the Karen, and 2 episodes ago, we had the moment where she vanquished that that worm, and then the guy just turns around and just like, you should smile more, which is, it's kind of a microaggression against women when you do the whole you should smile more, because it's this weird notion of somehow when a woman doesn't smile that it makes her look unattractive or something. And so she dealt with that. And so then you have it. So she's just tired. She's like, I'm fighting for people who don't even want to get fought for. And so it was so great that Harry was there for her and said, like, I will always fight for us. I will always fight for you, and I think that was good. I felt like that was good when Harry said that, because sometimes when you feel like a hero, it can be good to have, your partner or whoever really just be there for you in a significant way. So I thought that was great. And then we had the issue of, them really liking that. And then when his powers got back, they broke apart and they kind of gave this look, right? And then Harry kind of says, I worry about myself, being here when you've passed away and just aimless and ageless without you. And then Macy was like, when I realized you didn't have your powers, I was worried something can happen to you and the world would be without you. So it's kind of this thing where neither wants the other person to vanquish, to die or anything, right? But in kind of different ways. So what did you think of that talk? Do you think that is laying the groundwork for a kind of a plot line with them? I feel like what they're presenting us is kind of what most people deal with when we deal with vampire romances, right? When the human girl falls in love with the vampire. And I think I said this before in some other stream, where it's like, the question then is, does she stay human? Does he stay a vampire? And how do they go about this? So what did you think of that, Ma? And let us know in the replay in the chat, what do you think?
Well, son gotta give on that, because look at in what Buffy and Angel.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of, about Buffy and Angel. Or Twilight. In Twilight, she became a vampire and had its baby.
That baby, strong baby.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I think they lead it. I like the way they did that with Macy and Harry, and he explained to her that he didn't want to grow old and she wasn't there, and then she was worrying that without his power he'd grow fast, he'd grow older faster. So I guess they both figured, they at a standstill. I guess,
Mm-hmm. I like that Macy said one thing at a time, though, because I think my thing is they haven't really even gotten a chance to just kind of chill and be a couple, right? For longer than like a week before the next thing happened. I mean, that's literally how it happened going into season 3 from season 2. And so I'm not saying I feel like this kind of underlying thing for them is premature. I think it's kind of makes sense for the way their characters are, because both of their characters are super smart. So they would think of all the ways something can go wrong, all the ways of a problem that they would need to solve. But I feel like it's a little premature for them to be having to deal with the question of mortality and immortality just yet. She's still young. He can still be who he is. Maybe in like 3 to 5 years' time, that would make sense by then. But I just feel like that doesn't have to be their issue right now. Although I did love their declarations of they don't want a world without each other. Oh my gosh. But I was just kind of like, y'all, we don't have to deal with this right now. Let's get to the point where y'all can touch.
Yeah, but they can touch. And Harry was trying to heal. I said, Harry, you can't heal her now. You don't have the power. He's going like this to try. I said, you can't heal her now.
Yeah. Caddis is saying Macy needed the comfort. It really felt like some weight was lifted off her chest after that scene. I agree. She needed that. She needed that intimate touch from Harry. And I was so glad that they wrote that in for them. And it was a cool plot device to kind of get Harry to wonder, do I need my powers? Do I need? And, Mel said something to Harry like, oh, you used to know everything and we had you by our side. But now, and I don't really understand that line from Mel, because I'm like, well, Harry still knows stuff. So what is Mel trying to say? Like, because he's not, he still has white lighter powers. He's just not ordained by the elders. So I didn't really understand that. I don't know if that was thrown in for the drama too. Maybe kind of this question where Harry starts to have this existential crisis about why he even remains a white lighter, why not grow old with Macy or something. Although I do wonder, and maybe this got changed and or maybe I'm just forgetting how they tied this up. But when Harry lost his white lighter's powers, he started to rapidly age to who he actually was, right? And the elders had to give it back. So when would that not happen? Or did they change that because there's no elders? I thought the magic was connected to the white lighter power. That the fact that he stays young is because he's a white lighter, because he's actually like over 100 some odd years old.
Yeah. You mean, now what was the question that you asked?
I'm asking, Harry's thinking about, it's very clear to me Harry's thinking about becoming human, but isn't that how he stays young?
Yeah, because if
ageless. I'm talking about how he stays young as he is, because there was a whole episode where they took his powers and he started to rapidly age. Yeah. Agreed, Damien. Hasey's love language is physical touch. Confirmed. We love it. We love to see it. And yes, Damien, we will keep fighting for Macy and Hasey too. Yeah, Blake Blake makes a good point in saying, I'm hoping the Perfecti have a better solution to making white lighters than Celeste did. It would make sense because they had that combo this episode. Yeah, maybe the Perfecti could become our favorite people in the world if they solve this issue for Hasey, because I think this is going to be an issue for them. That too, Blake, or maybe Macy gets her demon powers back and slows her aging. I think that could also be an aspect of it. I don't know. I'm just like, Jaws is pointing. Yes, thank you. Jaws is saying, you're right, Chauncey. His aging is supposed to be tied to his magic. Okay, so I've been pointing out some stuff with these writers. Maybe I should just stop like questioning that stuff, because it just seems to be kind of revealing some discontinuity issues here, because I just don't see how Harry could be like, oh my gosh, I don't have my powers. And you know what happens when you don't have your powers, which is, but Stephanie is saying Harry's no longer tied to the elders, so that's why he didn't age this time, I think. You might be right, but I thought the magic, it wasn't about the elders. Like, the elders didn't say, oh, we take your thing and we'll age you rapidly. It was like, because he didn't have his powers, he aged rapidly because it's no longer his, kind of like Celeste with the watch. Without the watch, she ages probably. So without Harry's powers, he ages to his real age. But I guess maybe, that's not a thing anymore. John's is saying, but they don't care about continuity. Transcription is saying, I was wondering that too. Mercenary makes a very good point. Probably the only point that matters, which is the Harry situation was changed due to it fitting with what the plot need. And there we go, y'all. That was the answer. Probably you ain't lying, Mercenary. I think that's pretty much what we got. That's kind of a thing. Michael is putting forth the idea that, in their opinion, the first season was the best one so far. I don't know. I feel like season 3, it's got some bangers in it. Well, Ray is actually saying, no, I think the elders were extra spiteful and did that, but that never happened to Leo. It's just stripped of his powers, and Celeste stole time with her spell, so it caught back up with her. Yeah, but I will say I don't want to compare the same rules of OG to this one, though. That's my thing. I don't want to compare the same rules because they seemingly have different rules.
Yeah, they did. They, in a way, you saw some of the, you see, how can I put this? The OG part, you see some of the similarities to it, because that's what I see in the plot lines and everything. It just makes me think back to, now the Perfecti, like I said, it's back to the avatars.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Last time, and they was like, they wanted to rule the world too, in a sense, and try to change and make it to their, to their, how they see perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's different rules, but you might be right in that sense. So,
but similarities. Look at this. If you, like I say, well, you say you haven't really looked at the OGs, but I see similarities in the storylines of how they.
Of course, it's the same plot. It's the same nucleus plot, but I do think the show has kind of made its way to stand on its own for sure.
Yeah, it did.
I'm talking about this show. This show has stand on its own against. Yeah,
but you can't help but. I can't, well, me anyway, I can't help but try to compare the similar, I see the similarities and where they're going with it. And then you go, oh, so they're going to go another route with the,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Transcription is saying, I don't get why this show gets so much hate. It's sad that people can't see how amazing this show is. I agree with you, Transcription. That's a whole other that's a whole other thing. No, not you, Ma, not you.
Who hated the show?
Ma, when this show first came on, there were a lot of people hating on this show for a number of reasons. And even the lead actress, some of the lead actresses from the OG Charmed were helping to fuel that hate. I think sometimes people don't like when something is taken away from them. Yeah. There was a variety of reasons. I think I talked about it when I was doing season 1 reviews, where I talked about the hate, and I gave reasons why I thought some of that was, and they weren't necessarily on the up and up, why they were hating on it, but that's a whole nother thing.
I like this one too.
Yeah. I mean, of course I like it. I'm doing these reviews. So I just got my questions. I'm a critic, right? I'm a culture critic. I'm a film and TV critic. So me, y'all, I got to be critical about stuff. I got to dig deep I want the writers to justify the storytelling. Damie is pointing out another idea could be that the Perfecti just stole it while the elders literally sacked Harry and sentenced him to die. Yeah. That is also a thing. They stole his powers and were able to just, maybe the elders just straight up, like Stephanie was saying, that the elders were saying that maybe they were just being spiteful and aged him, about it. And yes, Josh, they are still mad about the reboot. They're probably very mad that we got renewed for season 4 too. Woo! Yeah, we got early season renewal. That's that Netflix money, baby. That making it so that since they on Netflix, CW is letting them stay on, which we love to see. Although they are changing the day to Fridays instead of Sundays, which is fine because I think that's where they started out originally, was on Friday nights. So, all right, lady. So, there was only one ship to talk about this episode. Although I want to give an honorable mention to the ship I was hoping to see, which was Maggie and Jordan, especially since Jordan is no longer cursed. I guess because they were already thrown into the whole thing of chaos. So it was like they couldn't do it, but it would have been nice had we got a little bit of maybe her talking to Jordan on the phone or something like that. Because now we've gotten 2 episodes where we have not seen Jordan be able to hug Maggie at all. So, all right. Yeah. So Joss is pointing out that some, people are actually mad about the Book of Shadows callback right now who already hate on the reboot. So sometimes people just find a reason to be mad. I mean, I'm getting that, as someone who does these videos and various reviews, it helps you get a thicker skin. And when it comes to people's criticisms and stuff, and sometimes people just find things to be mad about because they already decided they didn't want to like what you are doing or whatever. So, all right, lady, predictions. What are your predictions for when the show comes back on May 7th? Like that we saw in the promo that there may be consequences and people seem like they were getting sick after it looks like, go ahead, Ma.
That's what they said when they came back, when they showed the preview and they came back and they was holding hands and everything. So they must have got the cure or what, I'm just saying. But when she said that there would be, effects, I think that was it. Everybody getting sick. And then they're there to try to figure out how they're going to do it. Because she even said, this must be the effect that she was talking about. If they got that cleared off them, this is what will happen. Like, in a way, it made me think like you would say, okay, with the pandemic, you get the vaccination, you come back, but yet there's some other alterations to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's it. But I predict that also they're going to find out who the Perfecti is.
Really?
Yeah, because I think there's something behind that. It's too convenient. I mean, they take this off from you, but what do they really want? Then y'all ask that. I mean, come on.
What I didn't like was when they asked them about the allergy and the Perfecti were like, well, it's really complicated, so we won't bore you with the details. But yeah, we can do it. I don't know. It just felt weird that Macy, being the scientist that she is, wouldn't be like, well, bore me with the details. You know what I mean? Like Macy loves stuff like that. So it's like, it's weird that Macy or Harry weren't like, bore us with the details. We would like to know the inner workings of what this thing is about. I felt like they were just too quick, and maybe it's just the desperation of the allergy, that could be a thing that wore them down. So they're just so quick. Like we were talking about with Josefina, when someone's desperate for something, sometimes they make rash decisions. So maybe that's what this is about, the allergy, because it just seems so weird that they were just so quick to be like, oh, it's okay, pat us on the head and tell us what to do to that. My prediction is that I think that we'll get a little bit more of an understanding of the Perfecti, like you said, Ma. And I hope that we get a little bit more of an idea of the ancient times. That's what I was hoping for. Who came together to give the Perfecti life? Like, who were those people? Were some of those in, were some of those the original charmed ones? Are we going to see the original charmed ones? Will that come into play? And so I would like to see that. And yes, Kath, as you would think Jordan would have wanted to help. Just sometimes they just conveniently have characters just not around, but I guess pay and rotation. Yes. And also Hasty in Paris. Yes, we definitely want Hasty in Paris. And yes, they just kind of stood there. It was kind of like, yeah, were you going to tell us what's good? So yeah, Michael Thomas is saying Hasty and Macy having a baby. That would be mucho interesting. Okay. Candace, Macy, give me the science. It just seemed weird that they didn't want the details. I just was like, that's just kind of out of character. Josh is saying we got but so many episodes left. I hope we get into the ancient times some more. Yeah. Trans Christian is saying Josefina will get her powers next episode. I just have that feeling. Yeah, that might be the case. She might get her powers. That would be cool. I'm interested to see how they're going to deal with Mel's, the actress who plays Mel's pregnancy. I'm wondering if Mel is going to end up in a coma or something. That would be interesting to see. Caddis is saying, also Macy baking and Harry's terrible puns was a cute little detail to have in the episode. It definitely was. They could be so domestic together, and I just want them to have that moment with each other before they get into these huge existential questions about the stuff. You know what I mean? Blake is saying, I hope they do a flashback episode what led up to the Perfecti and their nap. Exactly. Yeah. Damie is having a prediction of Harry will see a bit of his human life. He was watching them will someone and more hazy. Definitely more hazy. Blue Wolf is saying, I hope Josefina is not replacing Jordan and Abigail. I would be so mad if she is.
I hope not.
Yeah. Joss is saying, I don't think Mel is going anywhere. I think she's filming straight through. She's still posting on set pics. Okay, that's fine too. Although it's getting harder and harder for them to hide that baby bump that I definitely was noticing in this episode. I was like, this is pretty obvious, but okay. And Kat is saying, I hope we don't lose the allergy just to get it back. I feel like we just circled the situation. Exactly. I'm tired of the allergy, and I hope we don't have it. But all right, y'all, let us know if you got more theories. Say it in the replay in the comment section. Please let us know. I always enjoy talking with you all about this. And if you haven't already, please do give this video a like. Engagement helps. Leave a comment under words. That engagement helps. If you have other theories, I would love to hear them. And just thank you so much for this. And I guess we'll be back with you in May. So stay safe out there and enjoy spring. And until next time. Yes, that lady.